Hello everyone and welcome back to my walkthrough of Dark Souls 3. First, let me burn the undead bone shard to strengthen my Estus. Last time we defeated Pontiff, and this time we are going to go into a new area, and instead of warping to Pontiff Sullivan bonfire, I shall go to Distant Manor. Alright, so down these stairs we can once again find some of these enemies that we can take out, and there is also a Pontiff Knight waiting to take us by surprise. So let's take out all of them. Now you can follow these stairs, or you can drop over here to get an item and also take some fall damage if you didn't re-equip the silver cat ring. Right. Anyway, the item is a rusted gold coin, and down here we find a couple more of these enemies, one of which is a caster. And they were, I guess, guarding a large titanite shard. We also find another one of these fire witches. So let's take it out. There we go. And let's go outside to get into this new area. But first, if we are embered, this is another place where an invasion happens. This time the invader is Alva, Seeker of the Spurned. And this guy has a great curved sword, a curved greatsword. Yes. And also he has a crossbow, and he also has no chance. Right, so after defeating him we get his weapon. And after going down these stairs, this is where we arrive at the next area, Irithyll Dungeon. Firstly, let me sit at the bonfire. And let's explore this creepy area. Now, before I pick this item, this is a headphone user's warning. This is going to be loud. And unfortunately this is not the last time this is going to happen in this area, but I will warn beforehand. So in here we can find some more of these enemies that we encountered in Cathedral of the Deep. There's also a cell that is locked. We will need to come back here after we get the key. But before I continue on, I would like to equip the torch. And since I am above 70% equip load, I am going to switch my trousers to also be a part of the Drang set. Right. Now over here we encountered this new type of an enemy, which is very annoying as it can decrease your health. And what do I mean? I don't mean that it attacks you. I mean it does, but it can decrease your maximum health all the way down to 1. Right, so in here there are some more cells with these guys once again, so let's take them out. And let me get the surprise attack on this enemy. There we go. And before I continue on, this guy dropped his robe, Now in here we can unlock this cell to let this guy out, or we can just kill it. It's fine. Now over here, this area where we can turn right and go down these stairs, or where we can simply drop over here. I am going to return to it later. But firstly, this item, this is another headphone warning, so be careful. Now what this scream is supposed to do is it's supposed to draw attention of these jailers. That way they rush you. Speaking of jailers, there's another one over here, so let's deal with it. There we go. And we have a couple more cells. There's one over here with some more enemies and a large titanite shard. There's also a door over here that we cannot open from this side. We instead need to progress through here, where we find some more enemies. A couple pale pine resins, which apply magic damage to your weapon. And we also have this creature, which this one is not hostile, but it's the only case of where such creature is not hostile towards us. Now over here there's another cell which we can open, and in here we find a jailbreaker's key, which is one of the many keys we are going to need in this area. Now over here is an area with a few jailers, so let me get the drop on this one first. The closer, the one that was closer didn't see us, but he heard us, and the one that is, I guess, overlooking the exit didn't even hear us, so that's fine. Okay, let me take out both of these guys before they cause too much trouble. And over here is where we find another one of these strange creatures, but this one is straight up aggressive towards us. It was guarding a simple gem. Now over here we once again have some of these disgusting enemies, so let's take them out with charged attacks. And in here we find a door that does not open from this side. Now this area can be a little bit of a maze, so just be aware that you are likely going to get lost. We find another crystal lizard and another one of these guys, whatever they are supposed to be. There's also another one in the cell over here, and if we open the cell, this guy is going to attack us. It's not very grateful. Anyway, this cell is empty, so let's go outside for a breath of semi-fresh air and a couple homeward bones. Now this area down there, we cannot get there yet. We still need to progress through here a little bit. And there's an item there that in order to get it, you need to go back a little bit and use the jailbreaker's key. So let's go back and then up these stairs. Back across the bridge to the side on which we first arrived. And at the end of this corridor, where there was another one of these screamy buggers, we find a door that is opened with jailbreaker's key, and this is how we can drop to get this item, which is a bellowing dragon crest ring. Now in short, what this one does, this is the sorcery version of the Miracle's Ring of the Sun's Firstborn, and the Pyromancy's Witch's Ring. So it greatly increases the strength of sorceries. Now down here we have an enemy we can get the jump on, and there is one enemy with a crossbow shooting at us, and another enemy trying to grab our attention. Right, after dealing with them, we can find another chest, which is not a chest. Pretty much no chest in this area is safe. That's something to keep in mind. Right, let's deal with the Mimic. And this one drops an Estus Shard, so that's nice. Right, now moving on, we can drop over here to, I guess, quickly progress to the next area, but I am instead going to go over here and deal with these guys first, which it's a bit complicated because my sword still needs 2 hits to bring them down. And if things weren't looking bad enough, there are also some archers or guys with crossbows shooting at us. Luckily they have less health, so they go down in 1 hit. Now down this ladder we can find a door that we can open, and there is another one of the giants, similarly to the ones we found in the Cathedral of the Deep, and this one is sleeping, so let's not wake it up just yet. Let me go back up the ladder and to the end of this corridor and deal with this last enemy. There we go. At the end we find a soul of a weary warrior and another drop, which we can take to end up over here on this ledge, and we can follow it to avoid the giant altogether. And we also find a pickaxe and some rats in here. Before I continue on this way, I am going to climb up this ladder. By the way, over here in this window there are a couple enemies, and we are actually going to get there in the next episode, so keep that in mind. This and the next area are very interconnected. So we find the sleeping giant and a crystal lizard, which obviously the temptation is too great. Now fighting this giant on a ledge is not a very good idea, as giant is more dangerous, so let's drop instead. And over here, aside from the giant, we also find some rats, and we also find a shortcut in here, which if we take this elevator up, we arrive at the door next to the bonfire. So that's nice. It now allows you to skip a big chunk of the area should you fall somewhere along the way. Right, now let's go deal with the giant. Next to his feet we find a profaned flame, 2 large titanite shards, and some rats. Right, now let's wake up the giant. And let's deal with them. Now unfortunately a lot of these rats are going to be respawning, so we need to keep that in mind when fighting the giant. Luckily he can also just stomp on them to take them out, but that doesn't change the fact we need to be careful to not be overwhelmed by the never-ending rats. Right, and after defeating the giant, we get a guaranteed titanite chunk and some more dung pies. Now, aside from that, over here is also a cell where we can find our dear friend and ally. So let me try to be sneaky. And hi, Sigvard. So, what happened?
Pardon me, I was absorbed in thought. Oh, look at me, trapped like a rat. But you needn't worry. I've just been sitting here weighing my options. The moment has almost come. I just need a bit more time.
I'll get you out, don't worry. So, when you're down here, let's say you come from this way, using a shortcut. The way to go up is over here, up these stairs, and we find a chest that is not safe and not a chest. So let's deal with it. And this mimic drops... Oh, this one actually dropped a rare drop, Symbol of Avarice, and a guaranteed 10 Dragon Slayer lightning arrows. Now, Symbol of Avarice is quite a unique item. It's headwear, and it increases the souls you get from enemies. It increases your chance of finding items of fallen enemies, but it drains 10 HP per second. So it's great when you're farming, terrible otherwise. Right, here we find another item that we need to jump in order to get to it. These are 9 lightning bolts. And we are back here where the giant was sleeping. And in order to keep pushing forward, we need to go into this sewer. And in here we find some more rats. There we go, and after dealing with them, there is a way to the right. That's how we progress. But first I'm going to climb up here, as there are 2 chests, and as you might expect, they are not safe. This one is a mimic, and unfortunately this is the worst type of mimic, the one that's not bipedal, the one that's instead on 4 legs. And I find the moves of the 4-legged mimics to be more difficult to read and dodge. But after dealing with him, we get a dark clutch ring, which similarly to the previous clutch rings, and this one increases dark damage while compromising some of your defense. And this chest is actually a chest, but when we open it and get the old cell key, it releases some basilisks that we now have to deal with. So once again, let's not stand in the terrible clouds of instant kill. Let's take out all of these basilisks, and that's pretty much it for this sewer. Now let's go through the wall, through the hole in the wall in here, and this is where we arrive in a room with a couple large rats, so let's deal with them. There we go, that's one of them out of the way. And another one. Alright, we also find some more aromatic projectiles. And when we open this door, we arrive at this large room. But before I explore it, I'm going to turn to the left. There is a large titanite shard to be picked up. Aside from that, we can also go outside over here, where we find a dragon torso stone and an elevator that acts as another shortcut. Now, the way dragon torso stone works is when you use it, you cannot have any armor on, and it turns you into a so-called dragon. And then when you use it again, you breathe fire. Actually, no, you get a temporary strength buff. The fire breathing is with another item. So, this is the door I mentioned earlier. And here we get a large soul. Now, this door is on the other side of the dungeon, so if you go from the bonfire, you need to cross the bridge and drop down to use this shortcut. Now over here there's also lightning blade, which is a miracle that acts like a gold pine resin, but the strength of the elemental buff is based off of your faith. Now before I tango with all of these guys, there is a dark room with more of these enemies, all of which are hostile, but a couple of them are asleep first. So let's deal with them first before they wake up. And these guys are guarding an item. And this item is profaned coal, which we can give to Andre. Now, in this room there are quite a few jailers, so it's best to be sneaky about it. And in order to be sneaky, the best way to do that is to equip a slumbering dragon crest ring. That way the enemies don't hear you and you can sneak up behind them. So let me wait for these guys to pass. That way none of them notice me. And let's go for a charged attack to take them out. Then normal attacks to take them out, and careful, careful, my health is being drained. Right, after taking out these guys, this one dropped a soldering iron. I'm going to go around this pillar to sneak up on the other party. So similarly approach from the back, a charged attack for a one-shot. I got time for one more charged attack. And let's finish the last one with 2 basic hits. Alright. Aside from that, there is another jailer over here. So let me deal with it. And on this side of the room we find a locked cell with an NPC. We also find an unlocked cell with one of these guys from a Road of Sacrifices. Alright, let me activate the health regeneration once again. And now, the items you can loot in this room are an ember, another ember, and if you defeated the invader, you can also find the armor set that he was wearing. Alright, now to the left, aside from this dark room, we also find another chest that, as you might expect, is not a chest. So we have another mimic to deal with. One that kind of pushed me against the wall, so I would like to lure it out to a bit of an open area. And one last hit. And this mimic drops a couple titanite scales. There's also this cell over here, which contains some Xanthius ashes and a headphone warning. Just be warned, okay? And a dusk crown ring, which the way this ring works is it decreases your maximum HP, but also decreases the cost of casting spells. So it's for people who chose sorcerer, pyromancer, or a miracle-based class. But for me, it's pretty much useless. Now over here is where we find a large soul of a weary warrior, and this is where we are going to finish this episode, as we are approaching the next area, which, like I mentioned, it's interconnected with this area as well. So expect us to go back and forth a little bit, but for now that will be all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.